Hello and happy 31st of December, the last day of December and 2023. You probably know who I am. This is Omar from Zoombirdy and from LinkedIn and from other shows that I've done on here. And I wanted to do a reflections for you for 2023 and how this year was. And so I thank you guys for listening and participating in this. We might have a few speakers coming in, but 2023 has been an interesting year. We've had some pluses, we have some negatives. We had a lot of good things that happened this year, and it's always good to stay with the positive, right? This year, I would like to say that there was a lot of positivity in terms of meeting new friends, new colleagues, new people, especially with the LinkedIn environment. I was able to grow more people to participate in my program, the trivia show, and to educate people all over. And that's part of the key and the goal, right? So I am looking forward that in the next year to come, more and more events will happen and we will be connecting with more people from all over walks of life. So 2023 has been definitely a wonderful year. I became an uncle as well, and it's joy seeing a baby grow up and making them see how life is. It's a beautiful thing, absolutely. And having a good job is definitely important. So 2023 has been a wonderful year. So some things I would like to reflect on is that if you have an issue or something like that, try to resolve it with a person or with other people, and try to always be as fair and kind as you can. Not everybody that you deal with is going to be open minded and that. So have your ears open, your eyes open, and watch out what you see. But always be kind and be what you can to help people out everywhere, right? I like to thank a lot of people in LinkedIn. There's a lot of nice people, especially Don Cohen, Leslie Flowers, and other members. There's so many. The list goes on. Also, my the instructor who's teaching me, helping me with the grammar in the Bosnian, Zarina as well. She's been awesome for 2023. Parents, family, everybody's been wonderful, and it's just been an interesting year. 2023. It goes so fast. You don't really remember what happens in it. So always try to have fun at things that happen and always joke around because you shouldn't take life too seriously. Take it seriously when the time comes, right? So, I mean, if things happen, they happen. Try to handle it in the best way. Seek somebody who has more knowledge than you in it is always a good thing. Absolutely. And yeah, so that would be what I would say in 2023 my reflections are. I'm hoping for the next year to do more comedy shows, maybe with Matt Allen, with other people. Also, maybe doing some more like Zumberly, an international edition would be interesting, definitely. And if anybody, we should be expecting more speakers to come in here. So I'm gonna open the stage today for people. I'm gonna keep them as a surprise, but if you'd like to join me on stage, I think the maximum that we can have, or the most we can have, is 10 people in here. But if you're open to coming in and telling us your reflections on 2023, please join me, message me, and I'll send you the link to join me in the room. We love to hear from you here today because it's important. We need to get together, we need to collaborate, we need to know each other and help each other out in the future to come as well, right? So, thank you, Barbara, for listening and watching. I appreciate you. Hopefully, the remainder of the guests will be showing up soon here, and I'll let them on stage. So, that's really my reflection so far for 2023. It's been a fast, beautiful 2023. There, I didn't really have much issues there, here and there. Did my beautiful program. I had more people. I connected with more people, and that's what we should all be about, right? We should all be connecting with people, getting to know people, and being able to help society and the world out, right? Absolutely one of the best things that we can do out there, right? For society, help them out, see what we do, because we all have a skill. Every one of us has a skill in terms of helping society, right? And not all people are willing for that help. So, like I said earlier, keep your ears, eyes open of what you see and all that, and then be smart at judging it, and maybe ask people who are have not more knowledge than you in the subject, right? So that's always something that's important and fun. Okay. Another thing that I would like to say is that enjoy yourself with healthy food. Go out, exercise, make sure you're healthy. Don't spend too much time in the New Year's to consume a lot of alcohol or any drugs, or any of that. Try to maintain it or minimize it, what you can, because the more you have of it, the more you're not going to feel good. And try to just have fun, enjoy your time. If you're working too much, make sure to take some time off and enjoy 2024, because life is short. If you're not enjoying it with the people you know and like, life isn't worth it, really. And that's really something that's important that we should reflect on for sure, right? So if you can go through those advice, and then drink water too. Make sure you have water uh, in the mornings, in the evenings. That's definitely an important thing. You should always try to do that to maintain a healthy lifestyle, and absolutely try to do what you can in that case, right? Uh, Absolutely. So those are some good reflections. Absolutely. If you guys have any comments, definitely put in there. And we are waiting for our guests. Hopefully, they will show up. If you like to join me on the stream here, please go ahead, message me, and I would love to have you on here and check your reflections of what 2023 was for you, right? It's been an amazing year, like I said. There's a lot of nice people that I met. Donald Cohen is one of them, Leslie Flowers, Martha, Matt Allen. A lot of nice, wonderful people that you don't have this connection with in other places around, right? So I'm very happy with that, and happy for 2024 to see what the uh, new people we're going to be meeting, and the new events that we will be doing and hosting. Maybe we'll be doing a lot of in-person events too. Maybe do more of the Zoom party to help people out in society. That would be great. If you can watch the programs that I've done in the past, there's a lot of interesting and neat shows and helping kids and helping people out from all over. So that's part of it as well too. So definitely an interesting uh, situation for having a program, and also connecting with people from LinkedIn. It's definitely going to be there. I'm looking forward for 2024 to connecting with more people, connecting with different people from all over, and getting to know who they are, getting to know what there is, and then also maybe have some more comedy programs or events, or something that would make us more happy, right? We need to be more happier. We need to laugh more. We need to joke, because that is something that we all need, definitely. And if any of you want to hop on, please hop on. I will send you the link, and we want you guys to join me here on stage. It's okay. Tell me your reflections, and we want to see what you guys think here. Okay. I do see somebody hopping in here. Let's go ahead and bring in our first guest, and hopefully more people come. Let's surprise everybody. This guy, his initials are MA. You probably, when you see him, will know him. He is one of the wonderful friends that I met on LinkedIn. We talk almost every other day. And he's a wonderful guy. Let's go ahead and bring him on, and hopefully we'll get more guests coming in soon. Three, two, one. I see you. There you are. Somebody's hiding. I guess he's not ready yet. I'll bring him on in a second here when he's ready. Okay. All right. So awesome. And we have somebody in the waiting room there. We will bring him on, and it'll be an interesting 2024. So, other than that, I think we're having a wonderful time so far with the LinkedIn events. We're having fun meeting people and also collaborating with a lot of interesting people. Recently, I did a New Year's Day video, and you can see it on my profile there. You can check it out. It's an interesting one, definitely, and that would be something you need to check out. Okay, I think our guest is ready. Let's go bring him in. Ma, are you there? Welcome. Good
I am here,
afternoon, my best
but it's
friend
very
from
dark, and
LinkedIn.
I don't know why.
You're dark.
It's very dark.
You want to go and get the
Oops.
lights?
Yeah, I think I need to put my phone camera and my phone flashlight on.
Okay.
The lights are on at home. I, I paid
Go
the
ahead.
bill.
Take it out. You want me to put you back in the breakout room? You got it.
It's
Oh wow.
me.
There you are. There you are. You're back. Awesome. Tell us,
Well,
how are you? How you been? And what are your reflections of 2023?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here with you. We've become great friends over 2023. So I think that's one of the reflections is not just about your friendship, but about the fact that we can all kind of real good friendships once that we reach out and not necessarily touch somebody, but just speak to them, and make some effort and welcome new people and whoever they are, wherever they're from. Um, as long as we have something in common, then there's something to be done together. Um, my main reflections for 2023 um, are really about what we're going to do going forwards. Reflections for 2023 for most people, for a lot of people that I've met and become friends with, is that it's been a difficult year. Um, it's been filled with war for some people. It's been filled with um, pain and with illness. Some of my dear friends have come down with cancer and stuff like that, and it's just been
Oh
really
wow.
tragic in that front. Um, some of the other things have been that I've met some wonderful people, both on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on many platforms, and in real life. Um, and it's just been a wonderful year to meet new people and find out that really, in many respects, we're very similar and very unified in what we're trying to achieve personally and here on LinkedIn and stuff like that. Um, but as well that we're all very unique. Like we all have so much different attributes and so many different things that we bring to the table. Because otherwise, we wouldn't be there trying to do business and offering the services that we do. But really, it's about us all working together to find a better way and look forward to 2024. I've just been putting some comments on some other people's comments on some of my posts to wish everybody happy and successful 2024 because I believe there's going to be massive for so many of us because it's time for it to be different and we all know that. I think
Absolutely.
so. 2023 has been a learning experience. And 2024 is going to be a year of making a difference and making change happen. Not just change, but miracles, like you and I's friendship. Um, I really treasure getting to know you. I know you're a great guy.
Yeah. A good point. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we
What, that
definitely.
you're a great guy?
For sure, for sure. Yeah, good points. I mean, we definitely need to connect and we need to be more open minded than we are, right? A lot of times we're more stubborn and we want to do it our way compared to others. And we need to kind of fight our ability, fight our egos in terms of being angry and in terms of not, when that happens. that can scare away people. And so we need to somehow be able to get more together than separate each other out. So that's definitely something that's important for us. Absolutely. I want you to give your point, and then I want to bring in the next guest who's actually waiting in the waiting room now. What do you think about the thoughts I just gave in now?
What about the what?
About the thoughts I gave in now about the connecting together and then your ego. What do you think about that?
I think that we've come to the point in civilization, our era, our time, where egos have no place, where differences have no place, where really we're on the cusp of we either make change good for everybody or change is going to be bad for all of us. And by all of us, I mean people. We need to understand that we're people and we need to forget about differences. It's time to just move forward as people and understand that really at the base of everything is the fact that we don't hate each other. It doesn't matter about race, religion, creed, color, anything like that. It doesn't matter where in the world we're from. It doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter whether we're competition or collaborators. We just need to get along and we need to make change that's going to benefit us all. And that is why I think people listen to the things that I say, because they know those are the true things. Forget about ego. Let's just make a miracle.
Exactly. And what matters is how you treat people, not and they're gonna remember you. So if you hurt somebody, they're gonna remember that for a long time. But if you do something good, they're gonna also remember that for a long time. And there's stuff I remember for 10, 15 years. Wow, that guy did this to me. I want to see how he's doing. I want to touch back with him. So without further ado, I want to bring the next guest. This lovely person is actually a daisy, a rose, a wonderful person, has been on my show a couple of times, and she is wonderful.
Is it Leslie Flowers?
And
Have
we
you
will
given
find
the
out
name?
here in a second. 3, 2, 1. Let's bring her in. There she is, the wonderful Leslie Flowers. Welcome.
Hello.
How are
Guys,
you?
hi, Happy New Year. Hey, Matt,
Happy
haven't
New
seen
Year.
you in a while. Good to see
No,
you.
I've been around.
Yes, I know.
literally.
I've seen you on the boards. Yes.
Welcome, Leslie. How are you? And tell us about your reflections of 2023.
My reflections. Okay, so I'm wonderful. I'm excited. I have a dip in the crock pot already underway. There's been a lot of family this year and my reflections. So, that's a good question. I didn't know that that's what you would ask me. I just knew to be here when you said to be here.
Yeah.
Reflections are that success comes from unexpected sources, right? So success really doesn't come from your clients paying you money. It's not about money, really, to hop onto what Matt is saying. It's success will come as you do good. You're basically causing, whether we understand it or not, the universe to send us matching good by way of people and opportunities. So the real successes showed up for me this year, not through the obvious expected sources, and they far outweighed whatever revenue I generated.
Oh, wow. I like that. I like that. Definitely.
Okay, good.
What do you think, Matt?
I think that Leslie is absolutely spot on. I not many people realize this, but on the bottom of most of my emails, I put a little phrase, which is "you doing good?" question mark. Because in England, it just means "are you doing good?" You just miss off the first part. But it also is open to interpretation as to whether it means "are you doing good?" as in "are you feeling better? Are you healthy? Are you living a good life? Are you doing the right thing in your life? Are you managing to do something good for other people?" It just opens up people's minds to reaching out a bit like we were saying originally about reaching out to other people and trying to make a difference to as many people as possible. And then, like Leslie says, you never know where that's going to end up, what benefit that's going to be, and not just to that other person, but potentially to you as well. You just open your arms and ask people.
Absolutely. I want to ask, what setbacks have you guys had in 2023? I know I've had some. I mean, they weren't too major of a bad thing. I've had issue where some people had some issues with me and stuff like that, and I was able to get over that. Leslie, let's start with you. What setbacks have you had in 2023, and how did you overcome it?
Well, not to sound so here's the thing. I haven't had any setbacks. I've only had lessons. Because on the other side of every single setback is the lesson. And the question is how long will it take me? How much time will I invest between the time of the setback, if you will, and when I get the lesson? Because there's always a lesson. So I would say I have had no setbacks, just a whole bunch of itty bitty lessons.
Perfect. Matt, how about you? I like that.
I've had a whole lot of massive lessons. Ranging
It's
from
good. Yeah.
well, it could be. It depends on your point of view. Ranging from when I first started doing live events and the lessons that I had to learn trying to cope with doing that, through to just understanding a bit more that not everybody is interested in the well-being of everybody else. And there was a little spot in time where there was not necessarily a lesson, but a setback, which was questioning my mind about, am I doing something that's worthwhile for other people? And is it something that there's enough good people out there to actually want and need that? And is it going to make a difference to enough people? And then the massive lessons really came in, and I realized, hell yeah, there is no holding back. There is no point to thinking, is there some reason not to do what I'm doing? The biggest lesson was, yeah, there is millions, billions of reasons out there, and I'm not going to stop. And 2024, like I keep telling everybody, is going to be massive for all of us. We just need to embrace that and believe and make it happen.
I like that. So I like the word lessons rather than setbacks, right? Because you
Yeah,
can
I love it.
lesson, kind of thing. I mean, an incident I had I can mention is that I had a friend that I thought was a friend who I worked with for many, many years, and all of a sudden he turned his back on me. And so you kind of think about it for a moment and say, is that something that I did? But after a week or two, or even less, I'm like, no, this is something that you didn't do. It's something that it's personal, and it's a good thing. Maybe they've been removed from your life, and it's a positive thing. And so you learn stuff like that when it happens. And I'm still young, so when I'm more wiser, let's say, I'm gonna learn more about it. So, what do you think about that, Leslie?
Well, so these people are you've heard this the statement, some people come into your life for a reason, a season.
Mhm.
It's very rarely us. Even with what Matt said, questioning himself, is what I'm doing, that is more of the natural fear that we won't be giving what we want. However, if the desire to serve and be heart-centered is strong enough and you're compelled to do it, it will outweigh any fear. And both of these incidents or these discussions focus on one of the universal laws, the law of polarity. There is an up for every down. The depth of your setback, if you want to call it that, will have a matching high, but you won't know when. So can I share with you my favorite quote, which I'll
Please do.
probably,
Please do.
okay.
Don't share one, share two or three if you have to. Go ahead.
Well,
You have a
yeah,
lot of knowledge, Leslie.
I
So,
have my own quotes that are easy to remember, but this one is the one that
yeah.
is so comprehensive. It's by Thoreau, Henry David Thoreau,
Mhm.
and it's and the last few words I might get a little out of order, but it's if one advances confidently in the direction of their dreams and endeavors to live the life they've imagined, they will meet with success in hours uncommon. Now, what this is saying is, all he's saying is if one advances confidently, just move toward it. It's not leaping over hurdles, right? That's sometimes how we, right? If we just take those small steps and endeavor to live the life we've imagined, make an attempt, right? And imagine and dream, then we will meet with success. Let's see. If one advances confidently in their endeavors, they will meet with success in hours uncommon. So what happens is, as a result of who we're being, heart centered, we're actually causing the universe through how we feel to send us people and opportunities with the answers. Now, we used to call them, and most people do, coincidences. But I invite you to consider there is no such thing. Just because we don't know yet how all of this works does not mean it's not working. So for me, I'm going to give the tie goes to the runner. If it feels right, if it resonates, if there's no intuitive, low vibration, I know if something is BS, and so do you,
Yeah.
right? As long as it resonates, and the person that's sharing it, I respect and speaks truth, then I'm going to give it a whirl. I remember when I had my first knee replaced in 2005, and they're supposed to last 10 years. Well, you see, it's still there and cooking. Somebody said, get at a law of attraction fair, go to someone who's doing henna designs, and they pray. So there was a particular woman at this fair who prayed as she created the henna. Right, I don't know a lot about it, but this is the tie going to the runner. Why wouldn't I do that? I already know that offering food to God before I eat it makes it taste better. I know that those who pray over food, Krishna's as example, and then offer it, the food is better. I'm sorry. It just is better. But I don't understand why. So she prayed that the doctors, as she was doing it, she said, don't wash your hand. It was a few days away. And she said, keep it as best you can, that the doctors and the staff were at their highest pinnacle of good that day. And so I didn't understand exactly, but why wouldn't I give myself that grace?
Absolutely. Good words of wisdom. That's great.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I mean, that does make sense. So if you're putting a higher power on it, it does make you mentally more willing to do that. And that's also to anything, I would say. Like if you're going to go drive somewhere far or go to a new place, put a higher power in it or put some kind of prayer in it, that's going to give you more confidence. Right, Leslie?
Yes, yes, it's intention. It's really what I call setting the context for yourself. And context is a word that has made me stumble for decades. I finally understand what it is to put yourself in the mindset, in the context of a heart centered servant before you go. This is what I intend, right? If you look at the physicians that went into Africa as example during the Ebola crisis, you would have to ask yourself, how come they all weren't getting sick and dying? Because they're heart centered. They weren't afraid of illness or ill health, which is one of the 6 basic fears we all have. I don't want to get sick. Their thoughts were focused solely on serving others. They weren't there to worry, they were there to help people get better. And that is, you can't be both. You can't be in faith and fear at the same time. So you got to pick. And those doctors chose service, which diminishes the fear. Now, there should be some fear because the law of polarity says that there's going to be some, but as long as your intention and the thing you're doing is something from the heart and you're compelled to do it, you'll recognize the fear, flick it away, and go right back to your heart-centered service.
Oh, excellent. I like that. Matt,
Thank
your reflections on that?
So this is a subject very close to my heart, which is that belief and attitude and accomplishing things go hand in hand. There are many studies into this, and some of them are squashed by different organizations and big things. I'm not sure how much I should go into that on your show, but I have living evidence that belief in oneself and a better outcome can lead to real change in your health, your ability to do things, your physical abilities and attributes. Like a couple of years ago, I was spending nearly 24 hours a day in bed, like unable to eat much, throwing up what should have been coming out of my bottom end because it had been stuck in my stomach for so long. I'm partially sighted. I have extremely bad, difficult to control type 1 diabetes called brittle type 1 diabetes. And yeah, I'm able to do more than majority of the people that I know and accomplish things because I believe that I'm going to do it. And some of those studies include things like children who believe that they're going to have a good result in their exams. When they go to exams, they have better results. To people who are ill, believing that they're going to have a better, more positive outcome with something, say, like cancer, and then having a better result from that, through to just belief that you're going to succeed in life in general and that you will be happy. Believing
And every time you do,
Yeah.
time you do that thing you didn't know how to do, it increases your confidence, and it also proves that
Yeah.
internal conversation that maybe it isn't good enough. Maybe I'm not the one, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is you believe that through repetition and experience and setbacks, if you will, as a kid, and you've believed that most of your life. So when you do what you're talking about, Matt, this is so insightful. When you go ahead and do something that you're compelled to do and you do not know how to do it, the greatest gifts were started with not knowing how, right? When you do that and then you complete it, you achieve it, you've now proven that you've built perfect faith in your ability to do something you've never done before and your deservability. So you basically outweighed that belief that you've had all these years. Now, honestly, one time isn't enough. It's
Yeah.
something that you do one and then you do another, and your confidence is a byproduct of this. So when you're asked to do something again, you go, the internal conversation may still say, hey, Leslie, not such a good idea. And then my conscious mind says, hush now, I know better, right? So the reasoning, our conscious reasoning now is stronger. Our faith is stronger than those sticky old beliefs. So it's kind of fun, actually. It's like a game, if you will. I mean, we just want to create new beliefs through stuff we did that we never believed we could do or we didn't think we could. And then we did it. We helped other people. And oh, hell, we did a good job also.
Absolutely. Well, I want to mention something you mentioned on Friday when you did that Zoom. It creates a new narrow pathway, right, in the brain. Talk about that a
Yeah.
bit. So, because
Yes,
that's good. If you do something and then your brain says, "Oh, I did it. I'm going to do it again," you get more comfortable with it. Just like live streaming. And the lady you mentioned about, she did 12 of them. Now she's comfortable. What was her name? She does with you.
Permelia.
Yeah, her. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's obvious. Like in the beginning, most of us were nervous doing the live stream. Now we can dance, jump around, do whatever we want because we realize we're giving information. If we're giving out like our social security number or we're giving out some information, we might be nervous, but we are doing what we can to dance our way through that.
This is how this is, and the other thing is, not everybody is ready for this, right? I can't convince you that you need to be more aware, Omar, right? I can't convince you of any it's something that bites you when you're ready, and whenever you're ready is perfect. And that's why it's all right for people to leave you. And to your point, going back, I didn't want to jump over Omar, your friend,
Yeah.
the person that you had a relationship with, and it's hurtful. I mean, it's natural to be hurt.
Yeah.
So there's a wonderful law, and you alluded to it. And I just want to put some meat behind it here, or
Go ahead.
vegetables, however you do it, right? This is the law of sacrifice, giving up something of lesser value to make room for something of greater value. If you continue to hang on to this, those people and opportunities that are already on their way to you because of the work you've been doing, it's not, I mean, they're coming. All these things are coming one after the other. You just have to recognize them. But if you're crying in your beer that this person did you wrong, sometimes, most often, those opportunities go right by you. You never even see them. So the amount of time it takes you to stop and say, wait a minute. Okay. Remind yourself about this law of sacrifice, right? We do this with our calendar. And this is one of the big breakthroughs I had with my clients is most of us set up our calendars unless we're in corporate, right? And that's and we've got a paycheck coming in, but all the rest of us who have one or multiple streams of income, there's a real concern about revenue generation, right? We have to have money. We want it to do heart-centered things. We need it to feed ourselves, right? So it's, oh gosh, where was I going? Oh God, I forgot where I was going. Where was I going?
About calendars.
Oh yeah, thank you. See, someone's always with me. I'll do this in a crowd. I'll say, if I lose my place, would one or two people stay with me in case, because I'll go off, but I do forget where I'm going sometimes. So calendar, yeah. So what happens is you put all your stuff on your calendar. You've got family stuff, you've got religious and community, all sorts of things. But the minute a client steps in, you're willing to toss out all those things you value for the money. Now, let me tell you what happens when you do this a lot. And I discovered this with my own clients. And that's why I created a calendaring system based on values. This is the law of sacrifice. When you start giving up stuff that you have deemed important for a fear, like there's not enough abundance, right? But there really is, but I get it. We do have that fear. Over and over again, it's like Carl Sandburg's poem, Fog. Fog creeps in on little cat feet. Resentment creeps in the same way. You're making money, things are looking good, yet something doesn't feel right. Well, what you're doing too often, and you don't need to do it at all if you set your own boundaries, is you're sacrificing. This is the law of sacrifice. You're sacrificing the bigger thing for the smaller thing. And that is what builds resentment. So, yeah, so that finishes the thought. Thanks, Matt.
So I think some of what Leslie's describing there, it fits with something that I tell people all the time, because there's a lot of people who feel quite despondent about the way things are currently for them, whether it's through one thing or many things. And what I try to envision and what I try and get myself to do is to look at life as a set of scales, like balance scales. And on one side, there is negativity and things that have gone bad. And on the other side is usually a great big empty dish that has nothing much in it. And the bad stuff far outweighs the good stuff. But once we start recognizing the good stuff and putting it in that balance and adding to it and concentrating not just on, well, what's the bad things that are happening, but on putting stuff every single day into that positive balance. And some of that might be money, but most of it isn't. Most of the positive things, sure, the money helps to do those positive things or to experience those things.
Yeah.
But most of the positive things are the people and the experiences and the happiness that comes from it. And for me, that's the most important thing, because as soon as that balance changes, you forget about what's going into the other balance. And even if there's something comes along, you're concentrating so hard on putting the good things into the good side of the balance.
That's
That
exactly
bad thing that's gotten dropped in doesn't affect it at all. You just
same
keep
concept.
adding to
That's
the good
that,
stuff.
it's awesome. And here's another way to look at this, because the subconscious isn't really thinking. These beliefs that have us trigger and react and get our feelings hurt and all that, that's not thinking.
No.
That is not thinking. But only one thought presides, and it has strength, right? So my friend Neil Falora, who is the neuro guy,
He's
he
seven.
knows mostly about neuro. Yeah. He calls it coming to center. And so coming to center is the place where you're objective and observing. Okay, am I going to react to the negative thing or not? Or am I going to choose to be more strategic? Now, when he described this, visualization is extremely important in achievement. The minute that you visualize yourself achieving the goal and the way it makes you feel, that vibration sticks with the visual image. So the more times you think about it and bring it up, you're boosting your vibration. Why does that matter? Because the universe will send you that match of vibration, good stuff. But anyway, I pictured one of these old seesaws. Remember the old seesaws that were like 2x6s in wood, and if you didn't sit on the seat, you got splinters in your legs, right? Okay, and some kid would get off and you'd fall to that awful part. But here's the thing: what you're talking about, Matt, is that you're looking at the two sides, right? This is the law of polarity. Now, the conscious mind isn't very strong because the subconscious pretty much has been stopping us. You're not the one, right? You've failed before. This is the conversation we all have, right? But when you start to do these things you've never done before and you do them effectively, oh, now you've got a new automatic belief, which is a positive one. But the idea here is to develop the conscious mind, the 6 intellectual properties, the mental muscles: perception, imagination, intuition, memory, reason, and will or focus. So this has to grow stronger so that when you come to the center and you're in the middle of the seesaw, and it's green, by the way, it's painted green, that you have a choice. If you get pissed off at somebody, you could actually choose not to react, or you could choose to react in isolated incidences if it happened a lot. But the idea is that you're in conscious control of your one thought. Who is going to win? And what we're talking about here is sort of giving us an edge. The people who are in the place where they embrace this, let's say, different kind of thinking, they're willing to consider, maybe just try it on. It feels okay, they're thinking, but it's still a little woo-woo for me, right? Once you're ready, then you realize it's safe because you will not be guided naturally to bad things, right? You will recognize the good things. So yeah, thank you.
I,
That's
I,
the end
I
of
want
that.
I want to ask you, Leslie. That's good, definitely. In your experience, have you had a client who was struggling with something, and then you were able to push him? And what was the hardest you think somebody can push in terms of changing or losing the fear of, in your experience? I know that was a couple of questions there. Uh,
Yeah. All the clients, deal with this. All of them become masters of their conscious thoughts. And even attitude is three things. It all begins with what you're thinking, how often you think it, and how you feel when you're thinking it. This is the DNA of manifestation. It can be negative or it can be positive. And that's how people go down the road of being brainwashed and negative. It's also about what you allow into your space. So ask me that question again. I got lost. Or ask me one of the two.
the
The client who,
first one, a client who has a certain issue that he's hard to overcome the fear of it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Then and then how did he overcome it? Because I'm sure you have some people come in and say, I have a fear of a certain item. I can't think of anything now. And
Everybody is
I have
afraid
a
of, how about COVID?
COVID. Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
I mean, yeah. Education, information that they didn't know. You see, once you understand how the universe works more than you do right this minute, once you understand that the universe is made up with 7 and maybe more laws that back you up, but you don't know anything about them. So it's with information, the continuous learning and the repetition of it. So in my program, when I teach something, it's every week for 12 weeks, but I don't just teach it once from one point of view. I use auto suggestion, so goal achievement. I'll show it to you this week this way. But then next week, you're going to be more aware than you were when you first heard it. Then I'll show it to you another way. Then another week, I'll show it to you another way. So it's sort of like, in a way, the multiplication table is how we learned, and the teacher made up games and stories, but it was still the same information. And then as we become more aware of the power of that information, as I danced through the house, I remember singing 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. When I got that piece, right? And you're a kid, it's a game. Oh God, I get it. Now I can do it with the 10s, but don't ask me with the 7s or the
That's an interesting way
9s.
of learning it. The way I
So
learned it. I
it's
guess you go.
through, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, so my program repeats the same program every 12 weeks. But you have to understand that the level of awareness and the insights, when they go back and see it again, they'll say to me, Leslie, did you revise this? I read this. I didn't see this before. Because when you're more aware, you're kind of getting up on a higher level. You got a sort of a, you become more of an observer. You start to notice things, don't you? So
Yeah.
that is the process. And I've just given you my process, actually. It's the process to set and create goals that you do not know how to do, using the laws of achievement, which I had to create because there was nothing but SMART goals, and those things will kill a dream in a New York minute. Even the AI stuff. Well, how do you use SMART goals? That's all that's out there. No one ever told us how to set a goal. There was no information. So, it's giving people information when they're ready in small bits, in different ways, in spaced increments over time, that has them develop these intellectual muscles and the ability to choose. I'm not going to lose my temper. There I go. But, or I am, right? But to come to center, as Neil calls it, to be in a place in the middle where you actually can see the two options available to you and make a powerful choice. Whereas before, with a weak conscious mind, that subconscious is going to stop you from doing anything but going to work for the state government and doing the same thing every day. And there are people who love that, and there are people who do it for the retirement package, and I get that, right? But that's not me.
Absolutely. And Neo, if you're watching, please join us. I'll send him a link if he can join us. If you're watching, Neo, please join us. This is fabulous. We're doing fabulous here. We have the Doctor Leslie, as Paul calls him. We have the comedian Matt Allen up there, who's very funny guy and wonderful. So yeah, those are definitely good points. I was gonna mention about the multiplication tables. That's different than the way I learned it. I learned it by giving me the sheet. Parents put me in my room, read those. You gotta get those memorized by tomorrow, and that's what works for me.
Well, that's another way. And then how did it stick? So if I say to you, how much is 6 times 7? How much is it? Tell me right away.
42.
Thank you. Okay, so the last time that I
I
got
better
you.
know that
So
because I'm a tutor. So all my students
Well-
will. Okay, anyway.
I was going to keep your secret, right? But the thing is, here's the thing. Yes, they told you to memorize it, and that is a way to learn it. But that wasn't the only time you worked on it. You had to repeat them. So the repetition, which basically creates faith, if you will, in the finality, the truth, if you will. You
Yeah.
believe that 6 times 7 is 42, right? It's the repetition. It's just like people who are hypnotized
Oh yeah.
to break a habit, right? They're not done.
Yeah.
Just because we can get into our subconscious mind and create a new belief, a new visualization, a new way to see things, it's not enough to counteract 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years of allowing those beliefs that you never created anyway. They were unsolicited gifts from friends and family, control your life. So each person, right, they're going to get the bug. It's a good virus, right? It's a positive virus. And then they will, when they're ready. Now, look, some people are going to wait until they're on their deathbed, but they'll get it then.
Exactly.
They will get it. Nobody goes to their final reward. So why not get it sooner and use the gift of conscious awareness and learning? We're the only ones that I know of, other than maybe a crow, that that can take an idea, which is thought energy, the idea, and turn it into physical matter. So if you're not doing that, if you're not dreaming and envisioning and visualizing ways to help like Matt does, then you're really squandering the gift that God gave us. And that's my opinion.
The beautiful thing about that is that you can start off with something very small, and just like a multiplication table, it's exponential growth by the end. Like there is no limit to what is possible. Like, sure, I've got this big thing that I'm trying to do, but it's like cracking a door to the possibilities that we see way beyond into the future that we've not even imagined, because it's a process. And like once that you look at things in that way and understand that you have so much more potential, and you believe that you can actuate yourself into doing those things, there is no stopping anything.
That's right.
I'm curious.
That's the magic. That's the magic.
A miracle, Leslie.
It is. It is. They're everyday miracles when people show up and say, hey, listen, I heard you needed some support in this area. What can I do to help you? Now, the uneducated, the unaware is going to say, no problem. I got this. Thank you for offering. Right. But not accepting contribution. There's only two ways you get information from the universe that I've found. One is when you go to bed at night and you ask a question. How often do you wake up the next day and have the answer? Or even if you didn't answer the question or ask the question, but you went to bed troubled, you couldn't solve whatever it was. And the next morning you wake up. This has happened to me more times than I know. This is when your subconscious mind is asleep. This is the only time the universe can get inside your conscious mind through intuition and imagination and give you the answers without a lot of interruption from the peanut gallery. And the other way that we get information from the universe is through the people and opportunities that want to contribute. As we're saying, no problem, I got this. You're right. I don't need your help. Thank you so much for helping. But that could be the person that has the answer. So we have to look at allowing people to contribute to us, because that's the miracle. Those are the everyday miracles that people are seeing. They're disguised as coincidence, aren't they? But they're not. What if they're not? What if we don't know quite yet why they're not, but they're really not? I like that better, don't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Especially later on,
Well, I
you
wanted to
start
ask you, Matt,
to
real quick.
generate them yourself.
I wanted to ask you, Matt. I was very curious about the multiplication. How did you learn your multiplication table?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a very, very long time ago. And they used to scratch it onto the slate. So by the time that you'd like repetition, 1 times 1 equals something. I can't remember.
One.
Now. Oh, is it? Oh,
It's not two. We're not
I
adding.
have no idea. I have more important things.
With tabula rasa, baby, then you erase the slate and start again, right? Tabula
Yeah,
rasa.
something like that. We just used to smash them because everything was made out of slate in my day. Mhm. It's called the Stone Age for obvious reasons.
Did you say Stone Age?
Yeah, I'm quite old.
Well, I was thinking more medieval, when they built the churches back in the medieval times,
Oh yeah.
they actually drew the plans on slate.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and slate was the thing. Yeah. So I learned
It's like everything. Technology moves forwards at rates of knots. Who would have imagined the slate in those days was a word for a slate, and now, well, maybe 15 years ago, the word slate meant a tablet that you could enter the internet and find out a wealth of things. We just need to open our minds to the possibilities, really. Right?
Yeah, make sure it feels right. So you'll know if you don't understand it 100%. Also remember that if it feels okay, out of confusion comes order. The natural progression, if you sit with something and it feels right, you kind of like it, you can choose not to. You don't have to, but if you decide you will, right? As you do this, and this is what happens with my clients, as each week, why we look at it a new way, you're at a different level of awareness, confusion dissipates and everything becomes clear. So you got 2 choices there. If something you don't understand, but you're curious about, you can sit with it, learn a little bit more about it, and then you'll wake up one day or somebody will say something. I mean, that's how I learned math. I was lousy at math, right? But I had to hear it from the teacher. Then I would hear it from my friend. Then my dad would be disgruntled because I didn't understand. He'd tell it to me, and he's an engineer, right? And got annoyed that I didn't get it. But then whatever it was, I was ready. I was on a higher enough level of awareness. I understood enough to take that next step into clarity. And then it starts all over again with some other concept, right?
And now you've gotten to the point where you realize you don't need to answer the question. You can say to Omar, what's 6 times 7? In a questioning way, and then he'll give you the answer.
Now, Leslie, I have a question for you. What is 9 times 7?
63.
Good job. You got it. Excellent. Excellent. Now, I'd like to also point out we are on the opposite competition with the Hour of Empower, Donald Cohen show. So
I know.
so we got to see who is going to be watching this show or his show now. So there's a reason why I made it this time. So I'm just kidding. So we're almost there. We're almost there. I was hoping more people would show up, but that's okay. We got 2 wonderful people. Your
Good.
ending remarks, guys. Let's start with Matt Allen.
Belief goes a long way. Action takes that belief into a whole new world.
Perfect.
Wow. I'm not sure that I could even follow that. Take 2 steps, which is what he's saying.
Yeah.
The minute you get the idea, take 2 steps instantly, little ones, because the fear will be the greatest in that moment when you get the idea. And the minute you take those steps, you're in action and it shuts down the initial fears, and then you're on your way.
I like it. Beautiful. Definitely beautiful. So
Thank you.
do what you can. Try to push it if you can. Take it step by step, and then you eventually do what you want. Exactly. And then one day you'll be hosting a show like us. It'll be
And watch out for people and opportunities that show up that want to help you. Stop for a second and let them. You never know what you're going to get. Stop saying, I recommend. No, thanks. I got it. Stop that. If you did one thing this year, and I
That's
know
one thing that
everybody's
I've
out.
done.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And here's the thing.
I
People
started
are
off
going to
just me, and now there's 6 people who help me, like, beyond comparison, that I'd never imagined would come along and help me.
and you allowed them.
Yeah.
You saw them as a contribution. Imagine if you had said, no problem, too busy today, right? You would still be moving along, right? But Matt, your faith in the universe and that what you're doing should be strong. I expect that it's strong because if you have 6 people that are working with you on this, it's big. And the universe realized that you had to have that contribution. The universe always knows. Sometimes, rarely, when we miss a goal or it doesn't happen exactly when, and it's rare. It may have been so big that you weren't ready, you weren't prepared, and then it comes back around. I've seen this happen many times, a year or 2 years later, and you're better prepared for it. So we must defer to our universal partner, is what I would say.
good one. Good point. I like. Well, thank you guys. I hope
Thank
you guys
you.
have a wonderful 2024. And I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. See you guys next year, and we'll be back with you guys in a second.